A recent survey by Resume Builder found that 49% of managers said it was difficult to work with Gen Z all or most of the time. And a staggering 79% said Gen Z is the most difficult generation to have in the workplace. Seriously? But before you start casting aspersions about this generation, born between 1997 and 2012, I want to hit you with another survey. According to Ernst & Young, 92% of Gen Zs said that being authentic and true to oneself is extremely or very important. That doesn't mean playing their favorite video games in the office or checking their social media accounts incessantly while real work is being done. No, Gen Z seeks an experience where their contributions are valued, where they're allowed to enact real change and make a difference in the world, even if it means making less money. But if that idea drives you crazy as a manager, well, it might be time to look yourself in the mirror. Gen Z is widely known as the most socially conscious generation. And within the next few years, they will represent more than 30% of the U.S. workforce. Their expectations of business are cut and dried: to live their purpose and values, to be supportive of the environment and social issues of all kind, and to make a big impact in the world for everyone. Sure, Gen Zs have lofty expectations, and they are obsessed with authenticity and taking on meaningful work. Some of these workers have even been known to reject assignments because of ethical concerns, and they are not afraid to express their frustrations. But for purpose-led companies driven to solve social issues alongside Gen Z, they often experience a big competitive advantage. That was the message of Brad Brinegar, founder of the consultancy Cubis Martini, in an episode of the Beyond Profit podcast.
We know companies are increasingly called upon to deliver, the double bottom line of financial success and social impact. Whether it's a surprise or not, it's a pleasant outcome for sure. I found what I like to think of as a purpose premium that I call the double top line. And you've already referred to the statistics. When you get over 3/4 of Gen Z saying they will pay more for a purpose-driven brand or accept less pay for the chance to work for a purpose-driven company, it's a real thing. When you 4 in 10 say they'll do both, you say, okay, there is economic value here. And only a small minority said they would do either. And the size of the premium was also a surprise to me. Somebody saying on average, I'll pay 48% more for the privilege of being able to consume a purpose-driven brand. That's a lot of money. It's probably even more so to say that I'd be willing to take a 20% shave on my pay to work for a purpose-driven company. All that said, I don't expect those numbers would necessarily hold up in real life at that level. And certainly there have to be differences across different categories and different brands. But the fact that this was a pattern that was consistent across all the subgroups, just like the concern about different issues, this wasn't limited to one small group of the Gen Zs. It was true across the board. And what it says is purpose is a competitive advantage. What it does say is regardless of the actual level of investment people are willing to make in premium, it clearly is a competitive advantage that has economic value.
In addition to being ambitious, Gen Zs are concerned about a wide variety of economic and social issues, including climate change, abortion, racism, and gun violence. And across the demographic, Gen Zs hold organizations to the highest ethical standards. That's because they mistrust the status quo, and they demand immediate action around issues that are important to them. That is especially true of initiatives to improve diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace, as well as mental health. That last one makes a lot of sense. As studies show, Gen Z suffer high rates of anxiety and depression brought on by social media addiction and other stressors. Simply put, Gen Zs want to feel empowered to drive change at work, and they prefer to work with people who share their sense of purpose. Moreover, they respect leaders who are generous with their time and are willing to mentor and provide growth opportunities. While managers often cite entitlement, lack of motivation, and short attention spans as reasons why Gen Zers are unpopular in the workplace, this cohort is worth listening to. After all, they are the most racially and ethically diverse generation in the U.S. And if organizations are truly committed to prioritizing purpose over profit, then they must understand the value and the perspective that Gen Z brings to the table. Because even if they sometimes make life difficult for managers, No generation can impact change like Gen Z. And in a world of constant change, having a few team members who know how to navigate it could be increasingly valuable. For the Beyond Profit podcast, I'm Ken Beaulieu.